I see a lot of clients who are on the receiving end of ghosting. And this has made me reevaluate, what do you owe the person you're never going to see again? Or if you're wanting to break up, how do you do it? And although I don't believe in sending a text message to somebody that values you and that you really care about, if it's something that you haven't been involved in for a long time, maybe you've gone on less than 3 dates, then I think a breakup text is actually better because people need a reason. They need a door to close. And if you leave that door open and you just fall off the face of the earth and never get back to them, they're going to make assumptions of why that was. It's better to tell them your truth in those cases and keep your integrity about being a good person or someone, an honest person, transparent. I think in that case, these are a good idea. I would not send it to someone who was necessarily toxic, although if they were rude on the first or second date, I will give you some bylines of what I think you may want to say or at least include. The first of these scenarios, I'm just running through scenarios that you might be in. If there's zero chemistry, really the person is nice, but there's just zero chemistry or interest, I would just send them a text and say, hey, listen, I really enjoyed meeting you. I don't think we have a lot of shared interests or, any romantic chemistry, but I think that whoever gets you will be really lucky. And then just let it go. Okay, you've closed that door, you've given them a compliment, and they're free now to understand, okay, you just weren't feeling romantic about them. Secondly, if they were rude, or disrespectful, I would let that person know up front, and I would tell them in the text, you made me feel awkward or you made me feel uncomfortable, because people need that feedback. And I don't wish to see you anymore. Please don't call and don't reach out to me again. I would make that door very clear because I've seen a lot of bad situations that happen with that, and I don't think it's wise in your best interest or in theirs to continue anything. When they're coming on too strong, I would tell them in a text and I'd say, listen, I understand I might have misread this, but I really don't want to get together anymore. I think your dating pace is much too fast for me, and I'm not looking for what you're looking for. But I want to thank you. I always thank people that they took the time and that I got to know them, because I think that's an important message to keep in a text. Next, when you're too busy to date, some people want to date, they want that connection, but then when they start actually dating, they realize, okay, I don't have the time to invest in this relationship. You need to tell them in a text, because otherwise they're going to make assumptions and they're going to take it personally. So just say, it's not about you, I promise. I just realized I am so busy. I've got my priorities maybe messed up, but I'm focused on my work, or I'm focused on whatever I'm focused on, and I don't have time to really devote to a relationship. You're much too great of a person to put on a sideline or to not get together with and not know that you are really a nice person. So something like that is going to make it easier, it's going to make it gentle, and it's being honest with yourself up front that you don't have time for this and you won't be able to pursue it anymore. When it's obvious that they're still hung up on their ex, and this happens all the time, and people prolong the relationship thinking they'll wait and nurture the relationship till they get over it, forget about that. Send them a text and say, I think you're a really great person, but I believe you're still holding on to your ex, and you're still very under their influence. And I get it, because I've been in love before and I totally understand, but I think it's better if you take some time for yourself or you pursue maybe other things. It's just that I can't be part of this because I can see the signs. I see what you're going through, and I'm really sorry. If you need a friend in the future, I hope something will work out for us. You can even add that at the end, although you don't need to. You could take that off. Depends how you feel about this person. If this is a really good person, just suffering from the emotional onslaught of getting over a relationship. And we all know what that feels like. So be gentle. Could be you next time. When you're drifting apart, if the relationship is drifting apart and you rarely hear about it, you hear from them unless it's something they need, let them know up front, you know. I really enjoyed our time together, or I thought we had something great, but I can see we're both letting this go. Don't blame them. Take responsibility and say, something wasn't right about it, and so I'm letting go. And you can then encourage them not to call you back wherever you are in the relationship. I think it's a good idea to end these with a solid boundary. And the reason is, if you don't, these are the kind that drift into people moving in together, and then the relationship has no direction and it doesn't go anywhere. And if you're in that, it's because you didn't send a final text or a final boundary to them so they knew in advance. And if they cheated on you, this is a very personal thing, but in dating, if they cheat on you, I would let those relationships go. If you're married to them, it's a whole nother thing, because you have more invested. Usually you have children too, and you should go to counseling together. But if you're in a relationship that just started and you're like 2 or 3 dates in, I would so let that go. And be honest for the reason. I don't think I'll ever forget it. I don't think I'll ever forgive you. I'm afraid it will come back in other arguments. It will be a problem for us to work out together, and therefore I am letting it go. And that is an important boundary to put in the text, and I think you should. I'm saying that I don't know your relationship, but it's a wise idea. And if you feel like you're in a long distance relationship and the distance is just getting to you and you can no longer make it work, be honest with them. So many people get ghosted in long distance relationships because they think the distance allows you to do that. It doesn't. Ghosting is like anything else you do that is beneath your character. It's not being honest with what you feel, where you're at in the relationship. Be transparent. So that's sticking up for yourself. That's being an advocate for your integrity. And letting go long distance is an important boundary to make. You can do that in a text if it's been under 3 dates. If it's been longer, then you have to call the person and talk to them verbally. I think that's very important too, but do shut that door. And lastly, if they're controlling, good sign that they're toxic. And those are good texts to send. I don't like the way you try to control me. I'm not into this relationship. I don't want it. And I am done with it. Please don't answer, please don't reach out to me in the future. I don't want any more of this relationship. You don't have to tell them that they need help. They probably do, but that's not your job to tell them here. It's more your job to set your strong boundary and end it. These particular instances are much better when you handle them with a final door so that you can close that door and move forward in the future. They may not like it, but they'll like it less if you ghost them, and they'll talk about you worse. And you're not only risking what they say, you're risking what it does to you. And you know it's not the right thing to do. Have a great day.